If you or someone you love depends on Social Security, do not skip this video. There is a toxic rumor exploding across the internet right now claiming that seniors are going to be cut off and won't receive their March 2026 Social Security checks. This kind of targeted fear-mongering is designed to keep you up at night, worrying about how you'll pay for your groceries, your medicine, or your rent. But here is the high-impact truth that the mainstream headlines are completely ignoring. If you miss the facts I'm about to share, you could be stressing yourself out for absolutely no reason. Stick with me to the very end of this video, because you are going to walk away knowing exactly what is real, what is a total fake, and the precise moment your money is hitting your bank account. Before we get into the heavy details, I need to say this from the heart. This channel is built specifically for you. You are the person who worked hard for decades, paid into the system with every single paycheck, and now you deserve clear, honest answers without the fear-mongering or the confusing political jargon. If Social Security is your lifeline, if you want facts instead of internet rumors, and if you want someone watching out for your benefits like they are my own, hit that subscribe button right now. I cover these updates for the real people who depend on these checks every month, not for Wall Street and certainly not for the politicians. Now let's address the massive update regarding the missing March 2026 payments. If you are an SSI recipient, you need to check your bank records immediately. There is a huge rumor that the March check has vanished, but here is the reality. March 1st, 2026 falls on a Sunday. By federal law, when the first of the month is a weekend or holiday, the Social Security Administration is required to pay you on the preceding business day. This means your March SSI payment actually arrived early on Friday, February 27th. It isn't missing, it wasn't canceled, and the government didn't run out of money. It was simply moved up to ensure you had your funds on time. However, this creates a dangerous gap where you won't see another SSI deposit until April 1st. So you must budget that February 27th deposit carefully to last the entire month. For the millions of you receiving retiree, SSDI, or survivor benefits, the SSA is sticking to its ironclad birth date schedule. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your money is scheduled to hit your account on Wednesday, March 11th. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, mark your calendar for Wednesday, March 18th. And if you were born on the 21st or later, your deposit is locked in for Wednesday, March 25th. If you belong to that special group that started receiving benefits before May 1997, your payment date is Tuesday, March 3rd. These dates are automated and processed by essential employees who work even if the rest of the government shuts down. Your check is protected by mandatory federal funding, meaning it is guaranteed by law, regardless of the drama happening in Washington, D.C. But wait, there is a second major update you cannot ignore. Starting March 7, 2026, the SSA is implementing a new National Workload Management digital shift. They are trying to clear the backlog of claims by routing files to different offices across the country. While this will not change your payment amount, it might cause some temporary confusion if you are trying to call your local office for help. At the same time, we are seeing the full impact of the Medicare Part B adjustment. Even with your 2.8% COLA increase, the standard Part B premium is now $202.90. This means if the amount in your bank account looks slightly different than your statement, it's likely due to this deduction or the updated Part B deductible, which has moved to $283 for the year. First off, let me address the elephant in the room. There's been a lot of talk and concern about seniors potentially not receiving their March 2026 Social Security payments, and I completely understand why this would cause anxiety. Your Social Security check is something you've earned through decades of hard work, and it's money that many people depend on to pay for essentials like food, medicine, housing, and utilities. When you hear that a payment might not come, it's natural to feel worried and want to get to the bottom of what's really going on. Now, here's what you need to understand about how Social Security payments actually work, because this knowledge will help you make sense of any alerts or news you might hear. The Social Security Administration, which everyone calls the SSA, runs on a very specific payment schedule that's been in place for many years. They don't just send out all the checks on the same day to everyone. Instead, they've created a system that spreads out the payments throughout each month based on your birth date. This system helps them manage the enormous task of sending out benefits to tens of millions of Americans every single month. Let me explain how this birth date system works so you can always know when to expect your money. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th day of any month, your Social Security payment arrives on the second Wednesday of each month. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, you'll get your payment on the third Wednesday. And if you were born between the 21st and the 31st, your check comes on the fourth Wednesday of the month. There's also a special group of people who get their payments on the third of each month. And these are folks who started receiving benefits before May 1997, or people who receive both Social Security and Supplemental Security Income, which is called SSI. Now, when we talk about March 2026 specifically, you need to look at your calendar and count out those Wednesdays to know your exact payment date. The way the month falls in 2026, those Wednesday payment dates are going to line up in a particular way. And the SSA will follow their regular schedule just like they do every month. They've been doing this for decades, and they're very good at keeping to their schedule because they know how much people depend on these payments arriving on time. Here's something really important to understand about Social Security that might ease your mind. Social Security is what's called a mandatory federal program, which means Congress has already approved the funding for it as part of the law. Unlike some other government programs where Congress has to vote each year to provide money, Social Security benefits are guaranteed by law. The money comes from the Social Security trust funds, which are filled up by the payroll taxes that current workers pay. This is the same system that funded your benefits based on the taxes you paid when you were working. It's a continuous cycle that's been working since 1935, when President Franklin Roosevelt signed Social Security into law. Sometimes you might hear news about the government having budget discussions, or even what they call a government shutdown. And this can sound really scary if you're wondering whether your check will still come. Let me put your mind at ease about this. Even during a government shutdown, Social Security payments continue to go out on schedule. This has happened multiple times in the past, and seniors have always received their benefits on time because Social Security is considered essential. The people who work at the SSA who process your payments are considered essential employees, which means they keep working even when other parts of the government might temporarily close. Now, there are some legitimate situations where an individual person might not receive their expected Social Security payment, and it's important to know about these so you can avoid any problems. One common issue happens when someone hasn't updated their mailing address or their bank information with the SSA. If you've moved and the SSA doesn't know your new address, your paper check might go to the wrong place. If you've changed banks and haven't told the SSA about your new account for direct deposit, the payment might bounce back. This is why it's so important to always notify the SSA right away when you have any changes to your contact information or banking details. Another situation that can affect your payment is if there are certain legal issues involved. For example, if you owe back taxes to the Internal Revenue Service, the government can sometimes garnish your Social Security to pay those debts, though there are limits on how much they can take. If you have unpaid child support or alimony, those can also result in money being taken from your Social Security check. If you're receiving other government benefits and there's been an overpayment that you need to pay back, the SSA might reduce your check to recover that money. These are all specific situations that would apply to individual people based on their personal circumstances, not something that would affect all seniors at once. Let me talk about direct deposit for a moment because this is one of the most important things you can do to make sure you always get your money safely and on time. Direct deposit means that instead of getting a paper check in the mail that you have to take to the bank, the SSA sends your payment electronically straight into your bank account. The money just shows up in your account on your payment day and you can use it right away. This is much safer than paper checks because checks can get lost in the mail, they can be stolen from your mailbox, or they can be damaged. With direct deposit, there's no waiting and no risk of losing your check. The SSA strongly encourages everyone to use direct deposit, and it's really easy to set up. You can call the SSA or visit their website to arrange it, and you'll just need your bank account number and the bank's routing number, which you can find on your checks or by asking your bank. Sometimes people worry about Social Security running out of money in the future, and you might have heard news stories about this. Let me explain what that's really about so you understand the bigger picture. The Social Security trust funds have been paying out more money than they're taking in through payroll taxes for the past several years. This is happening because of demographic changes in America. We have a lot of baby boomers who are now retired and receiving benefits. And there are fewer workers for each retiree compared to decades ago. According to the Social Security trustees, if nothing changes, the trust funds are projected to be depleted around 2034 or 2035. But here's the critical thing to understand. Even if the trust funds were completely empty, Social Security wouldn't just disappear. The program would still have money coming in from payroll taxes that workers are paying, and that money would be enough to pay about 75 to 80% of scheduled benefits. So you'd still get most of your check. And more importantly, this is years away, and Congress has time to make changes to prevent this from happening. They could raise the payroll tax rate. They could raise the cap on how much income gets taxed for Social Security. They could adjust the retirement age, or they could make other changes. The point is, Social Security isn't going to suddenly stop sending checks. If you're ever concerned about whether you're going to receive a specific payment, there are several ways you can check on this and get accurate information directly from the source. The best place to get information is from the SSA itself, not from random websites or social media posts that might be spreading rumors or trying to scare people. You can create what's called a My Social Security account on the official SSA website. And this gives you access to your personal information. You can see your payment history, check your benefit amount, verify your direct deposit information, and even get a copy of your Social Security statement that shows all the earnings you had throughout your working life. This online account is secure, and it's available 24 hours a day, so you can check it whenever you want. If you're not comfortable using the internet or you don't have access to a computer, you can always call the SSA directly. Their national toll-free number is 1-800-772-1213. You can speak to a representative who can answer your questions and help you with any concerns about your benefits. Yes, you might have to wait on hold sometimes because they help millions of people. But the representatives are trained to assist you, and they have access to your records. You can also visit your local Social Security office in person if you prefer to talk to someone face-to-face. Let me address some of the scams and misinformation that sometimes go around because, unfortunately, there are people who try to take advantage of seniors by creating fear and confusion about Social Security. You might get emails, text messages, or phone calls that claim to be from the SSA saying that your benefits are going to be stopped or that there's a problem with your account. These are almost always scams. The real SSA will generally contact you by mail first, not by phone or email. If someone calls you claiming to be from Social Security and asks you for your Social Security number, your bank account information, or any other personal details, do not give them that information. Hang up and call the real SSA yourself using the official number. Scammers are very clever, and they can make it look like they're calling from a legitimate number, but they're trying to steal your identity or your money. The SSA will never threaten you. They won't demand immediate payment over the phone, and they won't ask you to pay them with gift cards or wire transfers. When you see headlines or alerts about Social Security payments, it's important to think critically about where that information is coming from. Is it from the official SSA website? Is it from a reputable news organization that's reporting on an official announcement? Or is it from a random website, a social media post, or an email forward that someone sent around? Unfortunately, there's a lot of clickbait out there where people create alarming headlines just to get attention or to get you to click on their website so they can make money from advertising. The headline might say something scary like, "Seniors won't receive March payments." But when you actually read the full story, it might be talking about a very specific situation that only affects a small number of people. Your Social Security benefits are protected by law, and millions of Americans receive their payments every single month without any problems. The system is designed to be reliable and consistent. The SSA has been around for nearly 90 years, and it's one of the most successful and popular government programs in American history. It's lifted millions of seniors out of poverty and provided a foundation of financial security for people who've worked hard their whole lives. If there ever were a genuine situation where something was going to affect Social Security payments broadly, you would hear about it through official channels. The SSA would send notices to beneficiaries. It would be covered extensively by major news organizations. Your elected representatives in Congress would be talking about it. It wouldn't just be a rumor or an alert from an unknown source. Real changes to Social Security require action by Congress, and that kind of thing doesn't happen quietly or suddenly. For March 2026, your Social Security payment will arrive according to the regular schedule based on your birth date, just like it does every month. If you're set up with direct deposit, the money will appear in your account on your scheduled day. If you receive paper checks, the check will be mailed so that it arrives on or around your scheduled date. The SSA processes these payments automatically using computers, and the system runs very smoothly. If for some reason you don't receive an expected payment, don't panic, but do take action. First, check the payment schedule to make sure you're looking for the payment on the right date. Remember that weekends and federal holidays can shift the schedule slightly. If your payment date falls on a weekend or holiday, the payment typically comes on the business day before. Next, check your bank account or mailbox carefully. Sometimes direct deposits can take a few hours to show up in your account, especially if you're checking very early in the morning on your payment date. If you still don't see your payment after your scheduled date has passed and you've given it a full business day, then contact the SSA right away. They can investigate what happened and work to resolve the issue. The bottom line is this: March 2026. Social Security payments will be distributed according to the normal established schedule that's been in place for years. There's no credible reason to believe that seniors as a group won't receive their payments. The Social Security system is stable and continues to function as designed. Your benefits that you've earned through years of work are secure, and you can count on receiving them. Stay informed by getting your information from official, reliable sources like the SSA website and trusted news organizations. Protect yourself from scams by never giving out personal information to unsolicited callers or emailers. Keep your contact information and direct deposit details up to date with the SSA so there are no hiccups in receiving your payments. And if you ever have questions or concerns, reach out directly to the Social Security Administration, where real representatives can give you accurate information about your specific situation. You've earned these benefits, and they're going to keep coming to you month after month, including in March 2026.